we're just at like the end of spring training, about to start up. You know, you are what you are. Your roster is what it is, and now it's basically time to make it go happen. Unless you're going to add Michael Conforto, because I mean, is he going to play baseball this year? Because he probably wants to get that done sooner than later. I'm starting to actually believe he's going to come back because I just don't see. Don't you think like at this point he'll take like a 1-year deal and it's going to be?
Well, he's taking a 1-year deal regardless. I just think the Ken Rosenthal report last night that he hurt his shoulder or something. Yeah. Supposedly he hurt his throwing shoulder at a workout or something in January. Tell you something.
Okay. That's not true.
No, it's not.
That is absolutely not true. I know White Sox Dave said that he heard, like, he got a DM saying that something happened at a bachelor party. That's not credible, but it's also like when there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
By the way, Clem will be joining us in a couple minutes. He's getting Sienna on the bus. When there's smoke, there's fire. And I think that Michael Conforto represents something. I think Michael Conforto represents that last little bit of the Wilpon era. And not like literally, because obviously there's guys like Jake from the team.
Yeah.
But, you know, we had good times with him, but we've had some obviously bad times with him. And we've had this, you know, he's a weird player and it just doesn't quite fit. And I think this is the last Metsy thing to happen to him. He did something stupid at a bachelor party or has some off the field injury. And it feels like that last little bit of, you know, bad juju, Jeff Wilpon type Mets shit. And so from that fact, like from that point of view, I don't even know if I would take him back. But from the point of view of like, I think you could get him super cheap now. I mean, obviously super cheap, but even like super, super cheap because of this injury and a 1-year deal. And like, I see you kind of being like, meh, Meek, but don't you think you said best of the
day? There's nothing to lose on a 1-year deal. I'm just saying, it's like, I don't know if this would be the spot for him to regain value, because if I'm him, you want to regain value, you're better off going to like a place like Arizona or Colorado and just stat padding.
Sure,
like,
I get that.
And being a fourth outfielder here, essentially.
No, I do understand that, but also from a point of view of like life, where it's like this all fell apart.
Yeah.
And now am I going to like uproot everything and go somewhere for 1 year? Or do I want to just like, it's like the devil, you know, like I know it's not an ideal situation, but let me go back with the boys. He's got friends, he's got connections, he's got family, whatever. And like, let me just try to regain what I once had, because you said it best the other day. He's been in the league for 7 years. He's had one bad
year, basically. Yeah.
You know, so even if he comes back to New York and let's be honest, it's not like, yeah, he's like a fourth outfielder situation, but not like totally. If he were to regain some of his old form, it's not like you're really. I'm just saying we're not like murderers row where we got no room for another bat. We need bats. We need offense. We have the DH now. We have ways to work it in. And if all of a sudden you're getting, you know, Conforto when he was batting fucking 350 or whatever.
If he had free agency a year earlier, he would have made like 200-something million easily. Like that's a horrible part for him.
I almost want to sign him just
because you feel bad out of pity.
It is. It sounds rude calling it a pity signing, but it's more just like we were once family, dude, and like I got your back. Let's just sign you and help you get back to that level, because it all.
Yeah.
I mean, can you think of another guy who it like fell apart for?
Matt Harvey.
Yeah, but Matt never even really. I guess, yeah, I mean, neither really made it to their big money. But Matt, like, kind of deserved what happened. He partied too much. He was about himself. He never took it seriously. We obviously know now that he was probably doing other things. Like, Conforto just had a bad year at the wrong time. Otherwise, he came up. He helped us in the playoffs. He hit World Series home runs. He's shown power. He's shown average. He's been good. And it just was like it was just so bad. It's hard to come back from, you know, but it really wasn't a bad season.
You almost don't want to give him the shot because he's connected to Scott Boras. Like Scott Boras is kind of like the cancer of the whole situation, where even when he was coming up and we offered him that extension, he was like, I'm my own guy. Like I employ him. It's not his decision. But if you have someone in your ear whispering to you, like, yeah, you're worth 150 easy, like they're cheap shotting you, and then you get hurt, and then he's going to turn around and act like he's smarter than everybody and be like, oh, he hurt it diving and that's why he hasn't signed yet. It's like, no, dude. there was no market for him after he had such a shitty season, and then you're going to try to pin it on something else.
Well,
and
why?
shoulder when he can't even swing without it popping out, like that was the huge issue.
Is it the same
in 2016?
It's the throwing shoulder. I forgot which one he did in 2017.
So, I mean, you can look at that as like, okay, now he's got 2 bad shoulders. I think of it as like, all right, he doesn't have like one problematic one, but like, why? And maybe I know this answer, but it's like, part of me thinks, why did this one bad season like absolutely ruin him, where like people are not thinking, well, I'm going to sign him on the cheap and have a bounce back year. This is the definition of buying low. We believe that the 5, 6, 7 years prior to that are a better indicator of the half a season we really sucked. Why is he not getting any of that benefit of the doubt? I think the answer is kind of like what I've always secretly kind of known about Michael Conforto and never wanted to admit, because I thought he was going to be one of those guys who's around the whole time. He's a fine player. He's just not, you know.
He's not like a superstar.
Like famous tweet saying that he was going to be better than Aaron Judge when I was trying to like drink the Kool-Aid, and the inside you were kind of like, he's all right. You know, he's okay.
It's like you'll say it, but you don't want to believe what you're saying. Like in a way, gotcha.
And now it's like, okay, so
on it.
We know he's not that good.
That came calling. It was like he just doesn't want to accept a $12 million deal. He's like, well, I'm not worth that. It's like Call Her Daddy, where Sophia was like, just for one extra year, and then you'll be $100 millionaire. But you're like, oh no, fuck you. I'm gonna go do my own thing. Go get the bag someplace else.
Definition of overplaying your hands. I do have to imagine that the reason why people won't even give him any of that treatment probably is Boris, right? God,
yeah.
I feel like other guys you would say, we can go get Michael Conforto, who he might stink, but he might give us like 20 home runs, 25 home runs. He might, and we can get him for like 1 year, $10 million. Like, fuck it, let's go. But it's probably just like, well, we might get that, but we know we're going to get fucking Boris.
And he also has the draft pick attached to him too, which some teams do care about that, and others just don't give a fuck.
I personally wouldn't.
I wouldn't care about it. Well, we don't have to go to pick either way because we gave him the qualifying offer.
Right. People who care about draft picks in baseball, you're in too deep. I get it. You're super passionate. You know about the prospects. You know about the minor leagues, all that shit. You can throw a million stats at me about like, well, these are draft picks that turned into blah, blah, blah. And I can give you a billion that turned into fucking nothing. Mm-hmm. After the Kumar Rocker incident, I don't give it,
Oh, wait, speaking of Kumar Rocker, Boris is saying Conforto's shoulder's perfectly fine. This wouldn't be the first time that like Boris is lying about like a guy being injured when he's healthy. Like,
what do we think? Do we believe this White Sox Dave thing that he was at a bachelor party? Like, what can you do that? Like, what are you doing at a bachelor party?
That's what I was thinking too. Like, what can you possibly do at a bachelor party to the point where like, oh, you have a 2-month shoulder injury? Like,
I could see a scenario. I'm at a bachelor party. We're drunk. Someone's like roughhousing and fucking wrestling, but like I would get injured doing that. Not a fucking
like a pro athlete.
Specimen. Yeah, my shoulder would pop out if we decided to,
Honestly, the fact if you got injured at a bachelor party, it hurts his stock even more. It's like at least if you did it on the field, it makes sense.
Right. I know it's all when it rains, it pours. And right now it is a hurricane for Michael Conforto, and it's maybe like a little baseball karma for picking Boris and rolling with him. But man, it just does seem harsh to me. If he had 2 or 3 bad years, if he was a problem off the field, there he is. There's the big guy. Oh my goodness, how are we doing? We're just talking about how Michael Conforto is getting really like fucked. Like no one's even giving him, hey, we'll buy him. We'll take a flyer on him. Hey, maybe he'll bounce back. You would think that he's like toxic. It's like, don't go near him. It's like, no, he's a good guy. He played bad for a year.
I thought you were saying, speaking of people who have problems off the field, here's Clem. Like I'm off the field. I'm a problem in the clubhouse or something like that.
No, that's what I mean. Conforto is like Clem. He's a good guy. Yeah, I don't know why nobody wants to take a chance, but
now, did you see the blog today from Scoop City White Sox Dave?
Yeah. And we were just talking how that feels like a Mets thing and from the past would have happened. And maybe he's the last bit of Wilpon Mets juju that we got to just steer clear of. But at this point, I could see a scenario where he's just like, well, you guys take me back. And it's like, if you want to come out, for cheap and we'll play you where we can. But it's just it's a tragedy for his wallet.
It sucks, man. It sucks for him. It sucks for Mama Conforto. It sucks for what's his wife or fiance or wife's name?
Cabernet.
Cabernet.
Cabernet. It sucks for Cabernet. Sucks for Rico Bosco's dad. He's been beating that drum for a long time. So we'll see who can maybe drum up some cash